Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's Work in Progress Wednesday, we're going to be making the Rock and Roll Express. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Like I said, today I'm making the Rock and Roll Express, and I have had these head sculpts for quite a while now, which seems to be a common theme. There's a lot of stuff I've had on the shelf, and for one reason or another, it's just been set aside, but I feel like I'm finally catching up, being able to get to a lot of customs, and these guys I finally pieced together. I'm happy with the formula I've got for both of them, and I think they're going to look really, really good. So I mostly use the same pieces for them. I've got a Kurt Hawkins lower for both Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson here, and then Daniel Bryan torso, double jointed arms. I don't remember who exactly they came from, but it's the standard now to get double jointed arms, so I've been picking up as many elites as I can here and there. They did wear just very flashy attire, a lot of cloth, a lot of ribbons, a lot of strings, a lot of shin warmers. They just had a very unique look, and that's part of why it's taken me so long to get to these guys. So what I decided to do is to take kick pad uppers, or kick pads, I guess, and I'm going to be painting those white, and then I'm going to be painting a like a light gray and then a metallic silver over all of it. So I'm going to take, I'll take everything apart. We'll acetone the designs off the sides. I did find a few looks. They have a few looks, just different ones I found. Black tights, red tights. I want to do something different. I have seen them done with their black a few times, which that's what I think of. The ribbons, the different things they had to dress it up look different. As far like I said, they have a lot of ribbons, waistbands, just a very vibrant, really cool looking attires. So this is going to kind of be my shin warmers, leg warmers, ankle warmers, I don't know what you want to call them. And then I put normal feet on there. So this will get painted. This will be this light blue color, and then I'm gonna try to make some soft goods shirts for them. I do have, talking about strings, I just bought all these embroidery strings to use for different projects, so this is gonna be my first try with those. But I'm gonna try and make some soft goods shirts for them. They didn't wrestle in the shirts in their younger days, at least, but I am gonna give it a go to give them some sleeveless red shirts, see if I can print off some decals, or not decals, like some iron-ons to throw on there. We'll see how it goes. If it doesn't go well, we just won't throw them on there. We'll still have everything else. I'm really excited to get these done. I've wanted to for a while. Talked a lot about wanting to do older, flashback customs, WCW, NWA, pre-Attitude Era WCW, stuff like that. So let's go. Alright, so for Rock and Roll Express here, I did the layer of blonde for Ricky Morton, and then I'm going to kind of paint his roots dark, because you always can kind of see his dark roots in pictures. So I don't know if it's because he had feathery hair, but it's very prominent. So I want to make sure I get that in there. So I did a little bit of dark color, and then I'm gonna just carefully layer over it so that it's not super noticeable, but you can still kind of tell. And then the rest will just be that toasted marshmallow color. I wanted to get creative with these, so I'm going to use the kick pads here, paint them gray, and then I'll paint over them again once it's dry with the silver metallic paint that I have. And I always do that. I do the base color and then the metallic, because the metallic does not cover well. It's much more of a coating than it is a good paint. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll put the normal boot feet onto these kick pads and kind of give them the look we're going for. There's the metallic color, You can kind of see it. It's a little harder to tell on camera, but it's there. So moving on from there is time to start making the like ribbons and bandanas and everything. So first thing I did was start cutting this paper, and it frayed way too easy. So I did this and scrapped it. But I wanted to throw it in there. So what I ended up using was some hockey tape, which I use quite frequently. So instead of trying to tie that waistband, I took my hockey tape and then used the ribbons I wanted, placed those on there, and then worked from there. And then just slowly kept adding details, which this was the easiest of the options I tried. It was a task before. So I got them on there, folded them over, did use a little bit of super glue to hold them down, just like a dab of it on the opposite side so that they would hang down. And then I used some fray check, I think is what it is, and it's like a liquid that just kind of keeps the pieces from fraying, but it helped the pieces hang down a little bit more. So I put some on there, just kind of ran it on that whole piece, and then it stayed down to the sides much better and didn't just like float off in the air, which I did the my rockers customs, and I might have to go and do the same thing with them because I did have some issues trying to use soft goods for those. So I learned a little bit, came back and did a little bit better on the Rock and Roll Express here. So you can tell I used the super glue just to kind of keep it in that spot, even though it's not going anywhere with the tape around the edge. And then this is what I do often, is just put some paper towel on a figure and kind of draw what I'm thinking, and then I'll trace it on whatever soft good I'm using. So I did that to kind of cut out the bandana look that I'm going for on the Robert Gibson. So I'm going to do a red one and a blue one, and then which sometimes he would do an American flag one, which is pretty common in the reference pictures I found, but I didn't have any American flag looking cloth to work with, so this will do. I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to do like some fringes here. Same idea, cut out the triangle, and then I just use the scissors to cut a little bit like I did with my Shota Umino custom. And then we just have a couple small decals, and the hard work here is done. Alright, so before I get really into wrapping things up here, I have to say, these are probably two of the most annoying customs that I have ever completed. They were just weird to do, and that's part of the reason that they took so long. There was hardly any actual prepping to get these done. I had to paint the head sculpts, which is not a surprise, I do that all the time. And then I acetone the tights, and there was 2 very basic decals to put on each of them. Everything else was kind of left open, and that was cool, but also a little more difficult because I don't know if they ever wore the exact same thing more than once. And it was hard to get real clear pictures, so this isn't based off anything specific. I tried to just find a bunch of different reference pictures and kind of just have fun with it. So once I got going, I was having fun. Trying to figure out exactly how I was going to do things, racking my brain to do so, was kind of a pain. And these have been on my shelf ready to complete for quite a while. And I'm really happy that I finally did now. I had thought about doing soft goods shirts for them. I even cut out the template, and I had a shirt put together. I can go find it. Okay, thanks for waiting. So I had a couple, and I'd thought about doing a shirt, and I wasn't 100% sure, because even the shirts they wore, like every picture you find, it's something different. So it's cool, but also, since it's hard to just nail something down, it wasn't always easy to find reference pictures. So I did start putting a shirt together, and I was going to cut the sleeves, kind of do tassels on the shoulder and the midriff there. You can see it's not perfect on the back there. It was just a rough draft before I got going. And then there was one that I had started, that I'd cut a little bit differently, that I started working on, and then I had to go, I think I had to go to actual work. So I stopped for a second, and then didn't get back to it. And then by the time I did get back to it, so there's the other one, which there's no Velcro on it, so it's just kind of chilling on the back there. But I was going to cut that one too. But then I started working on the other pieces, and then once the creative juices got flowing, then I kind of forgot about the shirts, and I just want to have them posed like this because I think they turned out awesome. I wasn't sure how I was going to do the waistband. When I did my rockers figures, I used actual like ribbon to go around the waist, and I didn't love how it sat on the figure. So with these guys, I took the hockey tape that I use and did a couple layers around there, and then I just tied the ribbon, which is just some cloth, just some cotton squares that I got from Walmart. Cotton quarters. I can't remember exactly what the like store name is. But anyway, so I took those and then just kind of looked for some different colors. Robert Gibson had some yellow that he'd wear sometimes, but I didn't have yellow in my bin of stuff, so I really just kind of took some creative liberties. The straps that they would wear around their legs and boots, I did try to look up some of those designs more specifically. Some of them said rock and roll on them. Others, the design were kind of hard to make out. There was like a piano pattern, a keyboard pattern on one that I saw that was cool. I did the checkered one. I just tried to find different stuff and really just have fun with it. And really in my head, these turned out about exactly how I expected. They wore so much stuff and I'm happy with it. I think I capture that without having it just look like a mess. The tassels on the boots, I wasn't sure how I was going to do that, but there was a few different looks he had that had those, so I used my faux leather that I've made tassels for before to do that. Yeah, it was a lot of work trying to get to that point, but then once I kind of figured out what I was doing, I had a blast with it, and I probably won't be making another set of Rock and Roll Express, but I've wanted them in my collection for a very, very long time. I'm pretty sure I got these head sculpts at least last Black Friday, so it's almost been a year at least. I can't remember when I would have unboxed these on the channel. I got a big order then, so maybe that was it, but that is it. That is Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. I had a blast. If you are one of the older wrestling fans and you have stuck around and you finally got to see Rock and Roll Express, I'm both happy for you and for my collection. So if you're a newer wrestling fan and you don't know Rock and Roll Express and you stuck around, I'm glad you got to see him as well. But that is it for today, so we're going to wrap it up here. If you made it to the end, I appreciate it very much. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, and remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude out.